Hey, today we're checking out a 1988 Lamborghini Jalpa. This is only one of about 410 that were ever made, and I've always found it so interesting that I didn't really know about this car until I saw this particular one. Um, it was basically their entry-level two-seat sports car to what was really burgeoning during the 80s. And obviously, from Italian design, it was designed by Bertone. It had very mid-engine proportions. That is, long quarter panels for the powertrain in back and short nose in the front. The Alpas also had very pronounced wheel arches, and you can see the nice creases on the side that gave that long, low look that only the Jalpa could provide. The wheels were also so 80s, and you see that the design, it kind of reminds me of the C4 Corvette wheel, but it does have all new tires on it. Pirellis were mounted with 2022 date codes. Looks like only a few months ago, according to the seller. The rear engine cover was actually repainted. If you look at certain angles here in the light, you can see it's slightly darker compared to the trunk lid where the luggage compartment is. It doesn't always show, but we figured we'd let you see it from all different angles so you could be able to judge for yourself how close the color match is. The passenger side also carries over all the design cues we talked about, and all the panel gaps are pretty consistent. And according to the seller, it's never been an accident. And looking at the Carfax vehicle history report, it says the same thing. So that's good to know. Looking at the front end, I always loved the design of this, right? So they were always low because you had no engine in there. And this automatically made the car look a lot wider than it really was. And by using pop-up headlights, it looked even lower so you can get this really flat look. Then you could also put a lower chin spoiler. Here it's split with two halves, one on the left and one on the right, and it wraps around underneath the front bumper and comes up on the sides. The headlights do go up and down without any issues, and they light up, of course, and all lighting is said to function properly, and all lenses are original. The front trunk isn't really much of a trunk, quite frankly. You can't put anything in there. It's more of a functional utility area. If you pop the release and look on here, you got a spare tire in front of you. It's an OZ, which is pretty cool. And underneath it is the battery. And in here you access something such as the brake fluid. The reservoir is right over here by the pedal assembly. And there are some fuses as well. So this is not exactly a place where you're going to be putting any type of luggage. It's just strictly utility. It opens and closes by simply releasing it halfway when it's open, and it drops and shuts no problem. In the interior, we can see the two original bucket seats. They are still covered in their leather, which match the door panels that are finished in black with red piping. The seats show very minimal wear too, so if you look closely, you see some creases here and there. The rear cargo area is pretty clean. There are no odors, and the seller says that everything is all original. Underneath the parking brake is a little lever. That lever is the choke lever, believe it or not. Pretty interesting place for it. The target top also goes behind the seats and locks into place with little latches. You can see a little bit of wear on the outer bolsters and on the lower cushion. Nothing too extreme. And you're looking at 28,899 kilometers. So it's actually a lot less in miles. All the gauges function except for the speedometer. The odometer works no issue, but the speedometer we notice does not work. The gated shifter has a reverse lockout, and that's factory as well. Going to the back, we're going to check out the engine. It is a 3.5 liter dual head cam V8 that was rated at 250 horsepower. It's got Weber downdraft carbs right on top, and they sit underneath these cast aluminum air boxes that draw air in from the dedicated air filter, and then, of course, from the left side rear quarter panel. The ignition wires were replaced a few years ago, and in the image gallery, you can see the receipt for the spark plug wires. All hoses, clamps, lines, and fittings are original from 1988, and there are no leaks, issues, or any unusual noises noted. The seller does say that the trunk carpeting is separated a little bit on the right side, as you saw. It's actually a factory seam, but they just need to be pushed together a little bit more to be perfect. Some extra belts and other engine components are included as well. Well, I don't need to keep on talking about all these stats that you can find out online. Obviously, it's good to see this engine in place. And Gonna do a cold start. Let's see how it sounds.
Good.